Hey everybody, real fast before we get the video started. If you watch the original upload and you're wondering what the re-upload is about, there are timestamps down below so that you can just skip to the newness if you want to see what got added on, what got changed, what's going on. If this is your first time viewing, I encourage you, watch the entire video. There's actually some fun stuff in this one. Hello everybody, Mac here. Welcome back to the show. What I have right here is a big bag of Temu that just arrived today. In case you don't know, Temu is an online marketplace. Basically, it's out of China, and it sells a lot of knockoff product. Inside this bag represents $25 worth of product. Now, full disclosure, when I made the purchase on basically two items that I was like, okay, that looks kind of cool, let's bring that in and see what it looks like. As some promotional thing, they threw me into this deal where I got 3 items in here for a penny. So shipping and everything from overseas, from China, just arrived today, Thursday, time of recording. Everything altogether was $25. How cheap is it? I don't know. We're gonna find out together. So let's open this bag up. You can see they wasted no expense on packaging material. And let's see what we have in here. Shipping, no problem. So this is a little mangled. We'll have to see how this works. This is one of the 1-cent items that I got. This is a 1/10 scale model bicycle. I thought it'd be kind of cool. It would fit with like some of my 1/12 scale figures, and it's metal too, supposedly metal. So we'll have to put that together and we'll see how that works. I like that it's hunter green. I think that's the color I ordered. But let's put this together and see how it works out. So honestly, I'm not sure I would have picked this up if it wasn't a penny, but I thought this is something that could be really fun. Like I said, it's 1/10 scale, so it should fit. It should fit like 1/12 figures, like my Joe's basically, really well. Oh, there's a lot of parts. There's a lot of parts, and it is metal. It is metal, so I don't know. Let's get this guy together. Let's get this thing together. And let's take a look at what we got once it's finished. Well, there it is. Believe it or not, Gung Ho's fitting on it. So I had Zartan on there too before I turned the camera on. But I just wanted to put Gung Ho on there. They fit. It works. It was not easy to put together because while the listing does say instructions may not be in English, the instructions are on the back, and they put the stickers over top of it. And when I tried to peel it, it started to peel the image off, and the pictures that you can see aren't very good. It took me a lot longer to put this thing together than it should have, but it is metal, and you can see it does fit. Like, he has his feet on the pedals even. And the only reason he's kind of wonky on here is because this wrist doesn't hinge up and down. Then I think if you had a figure that had a wrist that hinged up and down rather than in and out, that he would be able to, the figure would be able to get their hands down on the handlebars better. But he's also like on the seat as well. So he fits. Let me take him off here. And this back here, this is a briefcase that actually comes off. So, oh, this would be great for Tomax and Zaymot. Now I just need like a suit. But it looks like this should open up because it's in 2 pieces, but it doesn't. It's just, it's like 2 pieces that have been glued together. They don't actually come apart. But this is all metal. The frame is all metal. This is plastic. The fenders are plastic. This kickstand will also come up. And the wheels work. can see that right there. You turn the pedal and the rear wheel spins. It has a little, like it has a rubber band that it uses for a chain. The spokes are plastic, but you can also see that, where's it at? There's little nubs right there on the rims to use for the inflation if you want to do that, because it also comes with a small bicycle pump that works. It even has like a metal peg to stand on. However, this isn't really opened, that like it doesn't like slot onto the nub for the intake. There's no peg hole in there. So it comes with that as well. It wasn't easy to put together, and it looks good on camera, but if you get real close, like you can see right here, some of the screw holes weren't threaded very well. A lot of these I think I actually cross-threaded when I was putting them in, but it moves, it works, and you saw that with a even with a Joe that's not a true 1/12 figure, it works for, oh, let me give you your briefcase here. It works for him, and I mean, like I said, this was a penny, so I don't think you can go wrong with that. Okay, next up, let's take a look at, well, that's not quite what I was expecting. This little thing right here is supposed to be like a military weapons crate or a weapons case. This was also one of the 1-cent pieces, but I don't know if you can see while it's still in the bag, it's Lego. So it's not nearly as big as what I was expecting it to be. Okay, this one's going to be real quick. I thought this was going to be a weapons crate that I could use to like store some G.I. Joe weapons in, but obviously this is not that. So let's rip this open. So there you go. It is a nice olive drab green, says weapons box on it, says advanced equipment on there, but it is 100% Lego. And there's nothing here to clip onto it, but you can see on the lid right here that there's that ridge that it pops on there. It has some nice detail work. I like the planking and everything up here up top. And all around, it looks decent. But if we set that there, and then we bring Copperhead back in, like maybe I could use it for a foot locker, but it's not going to store very much as far as weapons go. Do I have any rifles laying around? Whoop. Well, here's the Action Force AK-47. And you can see it doesn't it doesn't fit in there at all. Oh, but maybe I could store like blast effects and things in there. That might be a possibility. Take some blast effects, store them in there so they're not just laying around in bags or something. So we will find a use for it, but this is definitely not what I was expecting. Okay, we got 3 more things in here. Let's take a look at Building Toys Bing Bricks. Okay, I think I know what this is. I didn't think, if this is what I think it is, I didn't think this was supposed to be a brick-built thing. But that's like kind of what the bag says. The bag is actually really cool. The bag is pretty decent quality, but you can see there's brick building right here. I thought this was supposed to be an action figure. But let's open this up and we'll take a look and see what I actually got. Okay, so I have to admit, this one has me curious, because this was supposed to be like a 5-inch tall golden clockwork figure. It didn't say anything about it being like a brick-built piece. And it doesn't feel like it through the bag, so I'm actually really curious to see what we have here. So let's just rip this thing open and see what we got. Is this a Ziploc baggie? It is. It's a Ziploc, so it's resealable, and oh, there we go. It's not brick built. It is a clockwork figure. I think this has very basic articulation to it. And there we go. First impression is it doesn't feel cheap. I think there's only like maybe 3 points of articulation on it. And this little bit right here is bent. So the arms will go back and forth. They won't twist all the way around. The head, oh, there we go. The head has movement. That's cool. This arm will go back and forth as well. I don't think there's anything in the legs. No, the legs are pretty much just there. And then he has like this big grandfather clock with oxygen tanks on his back. This is so steampunk. The head is it's a little wonky, but I don't mind. I mean, this thing was like $9. Okay, so the color is fantastic too. I don't know if that's coming through, but the color is just fantastic. Did these turn? No, they're just soft. I thought there was some movement there. Let's get the tape measure out and let's see how tall this guy is. Let's see. To the top of his head, he's right to here, he's about 6 or 5.5 inches tall. To right here, he's pretty much 6 inches tall completely. Let's see. Here's Copperhead. I have Copperhead sitting right here. Give you an idea of scale. Want to stand up? Let's just drop this down. There you go. There he is size-wise. So this is actually, you know, for $9, $8-9, I don't think that's bad at all. That's actually really cool. The color is just what I was hoping it would be. It doesn't feel cheap. There's actually some weight to this guy as well. But the only points of articulation, there's no elbows or anything. The only points of articulation are his shoulders and his head that you saw. I had to kind of break the seal for that. But yeah, I don't think this guy has a name. It was just like, you know, clockwork figure. This is really cool. I'm kind of happy with this. I'm real happy with that. Just wanted to bring it up closer too, because after I did the initial look at it, I started looking at the clocks, and there's actually some pretty decent paint apps on the clock as well. On the clocks, like they're all the same time. I think this looks really good. I think this looks really good. I'm actually kind of impressed for $9. I mean, this is exactly what I was expecting. This is exactly what I was hoping for. I was hoping that maybe there would be some leg articulation too, but yeah, that is what it is. I can deal with that. Okay, just 2 more things. There's one that I'm saving for the end because it's actually something that I'm kind of excited about. But for now, let's pull this out. This is real simple. This was another 1 cent piece. This is 2 figure stands. So I'm curious to see how strong they're going to be, if they can hold 1/12 scale figures, if they can hold figures in a flight pose. So let's open these up. We'll put these together and we'll see how strong they actually are. Okay, here we go. The figure stands. There's 2 in this pack, and it was only a penny. I didn't have high hopes for them, but now that I see everything is in pieces and I have to put it together, I have even lower expectations. So let's rip this open and let's see what we got inside. So we got 2 separate bags. It almost looks like, oh, there are screws in there, so maybe we can tighten these down. So the armatures and everything are on a sprue right here that we just have to pop those out. Oh man, even the claw has to be put together. I don't know how well this is going to go. I also want to make it known that there are no instructions for this. So let's see what happens putting this together. Okay, so we got this leg and we got this little piece that I think this is the peg that snaps into the stand right here. So we slip that on and then we put one of our screws through here. And these are really, really tiny. I don't know where I'm going to get a screwdriver this small from. Okay, this is the smallest screwdriver I have. Let's hope that it fits in there. And it is. There we go, there we go, there we go. All right. Tighten that down. Screw heads are very soft metal. I'm worried about stripping them if I crank them down too hard. Then we piece that together. We tighten that one down. So I was wrong. The thicker one here, the thicker stud here, is the one that goes into the base. This one that we put on first, the smaller one, this actually clips onto this piece that will be the claw once we put it together. So now let's slip this together and give it the base that it's going to rest on. There we go. So I'm not really sure how this is supposed to stay together. Let me see here. Is this a certain... Okay, so this pops on like that. This pops on like that. So each one of these is going to be tightened down a little bit individually, so don't crank down on them too hard so you can keep some movement going. I'm actually having higher hopes for this now that I'm cranking these down, and this is all like screwed together, but also this is kind of brittle feeling plastic, so I don't know how long these threads are going to last, especially when you're constantly moving it and opening and closing, and then I don't know where these go, or if this is just a cap for that. I don't know if this is actually a piece that's supposed to fit on here somehow. So we'll just set that aside for now. We have 3 extra screws, just in case you lose any to the carpet monster, and then you just pop that into place. So there's our stand. Okay, let's try Raven right here, our multiverse Raven, and see if we can get a decent grip on her leg, because the claw doesn't close very... It's not going to close very well around her leg. At least I don't think it will. Well, that's not horrible. That's actually looking better. It's holding her up better than I was expecting, and she's getting some decent elevation off of the ground. That's actually turning out much better than I was expecting it to for a flight pose. The problem is that, like, the claw that we have here, and once again, I am concerned that, like, if we keep messing with it, eventually it's going to strip out. But, like, the claw doesn't really let you get a decent circular grip because of how oblong they are. But if we move one out of the way... Oops. Well, there we go. Well, let's try that now. So even with a broken piece there, I don't think this is a bad look for her. I think we were able to make it work. This breaking off, that was totally me. I'm not sure you can blame that on the stand. I was kind of forcing it, and I knew I was doing that because I was a little impatient. But I don't know. I don't think it's too bad. I mean, it's a penny, so I'm not. I didn't have great expectations to begin with, but I'm kind of digging that. Okay, so the final thing that's in this bag, the big one that I'm kind of excited about, but I'm also really prepared to be disappointed in. If you've ever played World of Warcraft, the name Illidan Stormrage probably means a lot to you. This is supposed to be a figure of him while he was still a demon hunter before he was transformed. And it's not bad. The coloring isn't what was shown. It's the Heroes of the Storm version of Illidan. You can see the image on the back right here. So you can see what he's supposed to look like. I'm not turning it around yet. I want to save the reveal for when we open him up. But he's not bad, and just for the record, once we open this, he was only $10. So keep that in mind while we pop this open. Okay, so there's no doubt about it. This is absolutely the one that I'm the most excited about. I didn't know this figure existed, and I used to love World of Warcraft way back in the day. I haven't played it. Man, I don't think I've played it since the Burning Legion expansion. But Illidan, like, I have the novel of this guy, the novelization of his backstory. I didn't know this figure existed. It even says right here, you can read his bio. Illidan Stormrage, the original demon hunter, betrayed by his people by creating a new well of eternity after the demonic invasion of Azeroth. After 10,000 years of imprisonment, he was freed by Tyrande Whisperwind against his own brother Malfurion Stormrage's wishes. Now Illidan lords over the realm of Outland, slaughtering unsuitably prepared heroes who venture into his domain. And there's a bit of a cross-sell down here. We have Nova, we have Stitches, we have Tyrael, but this guy right here, Arthas, this may be what keeps me going back and checking out Temu. I need to find Arthas. And the thing that impresses me the most, well, first of all, let's just take a look at him. This is why I was taken aback a little. This isn't the paint job I was expecting. I was expecting purple with the green tattoos. I wasn't expecting black like this. You see there's his ponytail right there, his top knot right there. I wasn't expecting black. I don't know if this is like a chase figure and an alternate paint job, if it was a exclusive or something, because this is NECA. I didn't even know NECA made this line, but this is actually kind of cool. I don't know why the paint job. Please, if anybody is watching, because I did try to look this up before filming this part of the video, but I don't know why his paint job is like that and not the purple, the night elf purple. He's just completely black. But that's neither here nor there. I think we all just want to get this thing open and take a look at what's inside. Okay, so here he is, Illidan, the betrayer, and I'll be honest, I don't care that this isn't the right color, that this isn't the canonical color. This still looks awesome. Look, you can see he has his blindfold on. This is great. Here's the top nut coming off. Like, this was just, it's just a ball joint and it's pegged in there so that, like, you can get a little bit of, whoops, a little bit of, like, articulation out of the top knot, too. This is a very light plastic. This is definitely from, like, NECA's earlier days. I think this figure is, like, from 2015, maybe a little later than that. I still don't understand why this color. Like, I only played Heroes of the Storm for maybe a month. Was this, like, an alternate palette color for him in the game? I don't know. I don't care. I think he looks cool. I do like the design, the way that the tattoos or the markings on him stand out. I think the coloring is awesome. How they have like that green on the inside, and then it's kind of like just outlined with a darker green, sort of giving it that glow effect. The tabard, the color of the tabard on the back as well. He even has like a little bit of dusting around the fringes of his pants, and his stitching is colored as well. I think this is really cool. I may still look for the purple version of him, but if I don't find him, I'm good with that. And this just really makes me want to get Arthas now. But let's take a look at the articulation, because for being an older figure and being like, this is definitely not up to NECA's standards now. This is definitely early NECA. But like I said, I paid $10 for this, like $10 or $11. I don't really mind that. His hair doesn't really let him do much in articulation for the head. The hair is not stiff, but it does tend to get in the way, especially with the looking up, which he can't do. Looking down, he can do. You can also see that like the neck is kind of like angled forward, so that hinders him looking up as well. But the arms will do a full 360. Okay, there's a butterfly. Oh, wait, is there? No, I thought there was. Okay, there's no butterfly joint. The arms will come up to 90. Now, this is the only issue with the articulation, that like the bicep swivel is very loose right here. And as a matter of fact, it really pops off. Like, this isn't thick enough for the slot, the socket, to like really latch onto. But I feel like if I get some Teflon tape and wrap this around a few times, that won't be an issue. He has single jointed elbows that come up to maybe just under 90. Wrists will swivel, and they're on a ball joint as well, so there's a lot of range of articulation right there. Whoop. Yep, you can see the arms coming off again. Kind of handle with care, but I really feel like the issues with the articulation can be taken care of with silicone tape. Like I said, he has this ab cut right here that he can do a full 360 spin. He can crank back, he can crank forward. There's some really good side-to-side movement. The waist has a ball joint or like a swivel, but because that it seats inside his pants right there, it kind of holds it to only a certain threshold. Now the legs kind of are drop down legs, and they'll come up forward, they'll go back, drop down, they'll come up to the side very well. I say kind of because I don't know if I'm forcing them or if they're supposed to be that way, because getting them back up takes a little bit of force to get them in there. Double jointed knees with some really good travel, especially considering how big these pants are. He doesn't have a boot cut, but the ankle will pivot. There's no back rock. There's a little bit of forward rock. And I don't think there's a forward facing pin for rocker, but combining the ankle pivot along with the front rock, you can kind of mimic an ankle rocker. Now, setting him down, let's set him down. The package and the listing said that he was a 7-inch figure, but let's set him down right there. And putting the tape measure to him, we can see that he is roughly 6.5 inches tall to the top of his melon, to the top of his head right here. About 7.5 inches to the top of his top knot. So I don't know if they were including that in the listing or not. But something else that I wanted to bring in is, this is a modern NECA figure. This is Warduke. That putting him with the D&D figures, like obviously Warduke is a little bigger, and I haven't opened up Strongheart yet. I just got him, so I don't know what the scale would be. Now in WoW, in World of Warcraft, the Night Elves are considerably taller than humans. They like really tower over them. But in D&D, elves are shorter, so he might be a stand-in for my drow, especially because, well, at least first edition D&D, drow were ambidextrous by their nature, and he comes with these big Horkin things, his demon blades, and these are awesome. Look at the sculpt, look at the paint apps. They're not completely bendable rubber, but they are flexible, so they'll bend rather than break. Look at the line work in the blades right here, and you can see that he has his handles down there. And these fit so well into his hands that you just put the bar in and just roll it in there, and he holds on to them really well. The only issue with the articulation with him holding these is that because of how heavy they are, and because of how loose his wrists and his biceps are, right now, maybe his ankles too, right now you can't really get him into any real good combat poses with these things, which is unfortunate because he looks like a beast holding them. But I really think once I get some, I know I've said this a few times, once I get some Teflon tape and bind up those pegs, his articulation will be tighter and we'll be able to get some real good poses out of him. Ugh, have to put some on that too. Real good poses out of him once everything's tightened up. You also got to remember that, like, this is a figure, he was in the packaging, so he's been in a package for 10 years. Who knows what kind of conditions he's been kept in, and it just came overseas on a container. So there he is. He looks great. I gotta get Arthas now. And that, my friends, is what $25 got me off of Temu. And to be completely honest, it was a lot of fun. Now, the one piece that broke, the figure stand, that was totally on me. I tried to close the clamp. I tried to brute force it instead of loosening the screw. And you saw what happened. The clamp broke. But as you saw what happened in the video, it was still able to hold up Raven. And even looking at this photo, it's holding Spider-Gwen in a pretty decent pose as well. That is the broken one that's holding her upside down. Also, just to be able to get an old NECA figure that's like 10 years old and is very difficult to find. Like, I couldn't find it. I can't even find Arthas, which is killing me, on the secondary market. And getting that for like $10, $12, despite the looseness, I'm loving having Illidan in my collection now. He's definitely going in with my D&D stuff. The Clockwork Man, I have no idea what I'm going to do with him. He doesn't really fit in with anything, but he just looks so cool. That coloring, that bright, like bronze gold coloring is fantastic. He may end up getting put with my D&D figures as well. And then finally, there's that bicycle that despite the headache it was putting it together, because those threads really weren't threaded correctly for the screws, I kind of had to force some of those in and probably cross-thread it. Luckily, I'll never be taking it apart. But you saw gung-ho on it, and if you follow me on Instagram, I posted a photo with Copperhead riding that thing as well. That bicycle is really fun. I may get a second one just because, like, I don't know, like, I kind of want to put Tomax and Zaymot on them because of those briefcases. I don't know, like, that's just something going on in my head. But the real reason why I'm changing the ending here is because, as you saw in the title of the video, in the thumbnail, Temu actually responded to my first video, which amazed me. No surprise that I am a small YouTube channel. Like, I don't think I'm telling you guys anything you don't know. I love all of my subscribers and I appreciate them, but let's face it, in the sea of YouTube, a channel like mine doesn't garner a lot of attention, especially from the companies. However, Temu responded, and what they responded to was some comments I made that were partly tongue-in-cheek, but also partly just cynical about what happens with our personal data online. I had mentioned that I was going to delete the app from my phone because I was worried about, like, malware and spyware, and I didn't know what they were doing with our information. Well, a Temu PR officer, what was her name is Natalie, and she is the PR rep for Temu. I am not going to try to pronounce her last name because I fear I will do it injustice, but she actually reached out to me and sent me an email, and I just want to read some of what she sent. I will put pretty much the entirety of the email down in the comments or down in the description below if you want to read it. But here's just a gist of what it says. The accusations that Temu collects customer data with malintent are baseless. These claims originated from Grizzly Research, a third-party short seller firm with a poor track record. In their own website disclaimer, they insist in caps locks that their reports are merely their own opinions and beliefs. They go on to say that Temu's parent company, PDD Holdings, is a Nasdaq-listed company with a market cap of over $165 billion. They are subject to extensive regulatory and supervisory oversight, and their share price has risen more than 40% since the publication of the report in early September. So there's that. But then she also brought up a good point that I think gets overlooked a lot when we're worried about what these apps are going to do with our information. Temu is available on Apple and Google app stores. According to the application marketplace guidelines, Temu is required to adhere to the principle of maximum disclosure. However, in terms of actual data collection and usage, Temu follows the principle of minimality, meaning it only collects and uses data necessary for specific justified scenarios. She goes on to talk about payment security and scam accusations, and there are links to numerous websites for Temu that I'm going to include in the description down below. I also want to make it very, very clear that they didn't ask me, Natalie or Temu didn't ask me to do this, and they did not threaten me with like a strike or anything if I didn't do this, but I got called out. So I made a baseless accusation, like I said, that was partially tongue-in-cheek and was partially just my own cynicism, and I got called out. So I want to try and set things right. I'm also doing this as a re-upload because there was one other time I tried to correct information that was in one of my videos, and I just did a secondary video, but that didn't reach everybody, and I don't think that worked out quite the way that it should have. So I'm trying this as an alternative to that. just to try and set the record straight. So I will put, like I said, I will put, like I said, the email in the description below if you want to read that. And I just want to apologize to Natalie for making her job harder. Also, I think it's worth mentioning that in the original video, one of my viewers mentioned that they order the figure stands, like the one that I broke. They order the figure stands pretty regularly from Temu. So there's, you know, a viewer saying that they use the app a lot and that they order from them a lot. So I just wanted to set the record straight. I'm also kind of impressed that, you know, a company like them paid attention to a small channel like mine. So until next time, my friends, play well, stay safe, stay healthy, and as always, thank you for watching.